The interesting one to me this week is what's happening with Netflix, Paramount, and Warner Brothers. Now, acquisitions happen all the time. Potential acquisitions, somebody can jump ahead of somebody in line, like it appears that Netflix potentially did to Paramount here. It happens all the time. What is interesting to me about this is how much the government is involved in this. And I'm not sure this is the greatest precedent we're setting here. So, by all accounts, is Paramount was discussing acquiring Warner Brothers, which is absolutely fine. And Netflix came in and said, "Hey, we want to do that. We would rather buy this." And they came with a deal. They put one together, and Warner Brothers decided to go exclusively with Netflix for now. We'll see what happens. Paramount actually just came out today with another, I believe, hostile takeover bid. What the interesting part about this for me is both entities there are some antitrust concerns here. Obviously, Warner Brothers is one of the largest studios. As you consolidate more and more of these, you get less and less competition out there. So I understand from a regulatory point of view about doing that. But there was information that came out this week that CEO of Netflix had discussions with President Trump with regard to this potential merger deal. Basically, somewhat asking for a sign off, if you will, or at least discussing the possibility of this. And that's the biggest concern I have here is we need to allow these things to not have pure government influence in order to happen and be a capitalist society like we said we are wanting to be. We should not be looking for quote unquote approval from one entity, one person, one thing as the blessing for doing these deals. I don't believe that's healthy. I don't believe that we should be looking to do that. Now, again, if you want to do your research and due diligence and saying this is a potential antitrust and getting ahead of that, if that's all it was, great. But sign off and approval from one entity and one person at the top of the chain there is not what I would call a healthy environment. It's not something I think that is terribly healthy for a longer period of time overall in business. So from my perspective, that's the more interesting part about this. Whether Warner Brothers is acquired by Paramount, whether Warner Brothers is acquired by Netflix, we'll let that happen. But we'll see where that goes. But from my side, I just think we need to be a little bit more careful here about what we're doing from acquiring approval on these things and acquiring a blessing and sign off from one particular individual. So I just wanted to highlight that as something that, I read this weekend that frankly made me a little cautious about the way we're directing these things.